Bitcoin dropped hard. We are now up to 27.6, but potentially only finding resistance here, and there is a lot to talk about where Bitcoin might go next, because what we've been seeing over these last few days, I think, are giving us some really strong hints about where Bitcoin could be and what could be happening. Now look, I want to make something really clear. I'm still not worried in this market. A lot of people are getting scared. I think we're going to really see that reflected with the Fear and Greed Index, which updates in about 6 hours from now. But I am not worried with what we're seeing right now. I'm going to continue to keep my eyes on it, and I'm only seeing opportunities here. I told you guys that I entered a short position on Bitcoin yesterday, made a little bit of profit, and I got stopped out on the rest with break even. So it's completely fine, but that's just showing you guys that there are opportunities here and I am ready to trade them. Altcoins are moving. There's a lot going on. Check out the second channel. You already know the deal if you want to see my altcoin analysis. But here's the thing with Bitcoin. Volume increased on this dump, and this is something that I'm finding a little bit concerning, potentially indicating that we could be continuing this and dropping further down towards $25,000. Seeing volume come when the market starts breaking key levels and seeing the volume kind of pick up is a sign of confirmation that this is kind of legitimate price action and that it could stick around. Now, it's not surefire. A lot of the time, it's actually not very reliable, but it is still an important metric, and considering it's going against us right now, it is just something that I want to keep in mind, because we are also losing other bits of support. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But if we zoom out and take a look at this chart on this weekly time frame right here, we actually get a slightly different image of Bitcoin, which is quite interesting, where we can see that on Binance specifically, I have to highlight this. This is only a Binance thing. The Bitcoin USDT price is continuing to move up, with volume also rising with it as well. And again, when we talk about volume kind of confirming a rally, it doesn't get better than this. We were flatlining for a really long time, and then it really just starts to pick up. To be fair, it starts picking up when the market enters this range right here, which, I want to be very clear with you guys. This is only on Binance, and actually because of the way this is reported, some of you guys may actually know why the data is being reported like this, but if it's not actually the case that a lot of people are trading, it could just be that they're reporting the data differently right now. So this is important to keep in mind, but it's not sudden, right? Like, the volume doesn't like suddenly just shoot up to massive levels. It actually looks pretty organic in terms of its growth. So if this ends up being something that kind of works out for Bitcoin in its favor, that could mean that the 30k level is going to end up failing and almost just resulting in a big rally up. And the reason that I'm showing this to you now is, like, this is kind of like a hard chart to look at and digest. A lot of people, don't want to talk about how the market still looks bullish with the long-term chart. Again, I want to be very clear with you. We have a bad weekly candle. I spoke to you about this yesterday. I mean, the fact that this one weekly candle here, look at this, has just completely eclipsed the previous 4 candles is a big deal, right? I mean, like, we've erased a lot of progress, but again, when you look at this chart, it's quite clear that, like, we're not really down by that much, right? I mean, it's quite an insignificant move overall compared to what we've pulled off so far, but people and their emotions are not reflecting that. The 30k level, we know it's really important, but I just want to show you how important it is. We were talking about broadening wedges for a while on this YouTube channel previously, because we broke out of one. Look, every time we break out of these patterns, it's a big deal, and we've got like 2 important lines of resistance basically right here at $30,000, but we've also got this descending channel. Now, this is kind of a big deal in my opinion. This is a long-term view of Bitcoin. Again, we're still on the weekly time frame. I'll get to the short-term analysis in a second, because I know that's the main thing you guys are here for, and that's the main thing I'm here for as well. But we can't do short-term analysis without first putting it in the perspective of long-term analysis. And what we have right now, ladies and gents, is quite clearly a downward sloping parallel channel here that we entered when Bitcoin first rallied up here to $40,000, and then significantly further beyond to 58 and 64. We entered this downward sloping resistance channel right here, I guess. I don't know what you would call it really, but we entered this channel, and we've been stuck in it for a while. It's a pretty damn accurate channel, with the highs, with the lows. Granted, we've only had 2 hits on the highs, but well, I guess you could count this as 3 hits, and the third one being right here. But the support level, there is definitely something to say about this support level. So the range kind of stretches up. 150%, and if we do manage to break out from the 30k range, which is exactly where this resistance is right now, it's just interesting to see that from so many different directions, so many different indicators, so many different chart patterns, 30k is the key level. It is the key level that, you know, the bears are depending on for it to hold, and the bulls are depending on it to break. You know, if we do break above this level, I think big things are going to happen. The fact that we're getting a pullback right now, you know, is telling me that it's going to be all the more glorious if Bitcoin does manage to break the 30k level. And I want to be super clear with you. At no point have I said that that's definitely going to happen. I have been giving you predictions since Bitcoin was down at $17,000 that I think we can get a $40,000 Bitcoin, that I think we can get a 30k. I was very confident about 30, and I was also saying 40k definitely seems possible. And my opinions there haven't changed. Actually, my opinions on the analysis in general haven't changed really at all. Only my short-term views have fluctuated because the short-term market changes quite quickly, but we're still in a good place. We can keep dropping down to 25, right? And we're only coming down to find support, so I'm not too worried about how that looks. But what I do really like is the potential with this channel potentially showing us that, yeah, a nice pump like this, another 150% up, would put us up at $77,000, and it would have been quite a long time, you know, between when we've kind of entered this range and when we'd be breaking out, if we do end up doing so, which to me just means that it would be even more of a significant breakout. And that is really, really important to keep in mind, because we already knew how important the 30k level is. But now that we're getting this drop, like, this is the side of analysis that people aren't talking about, because like right now everything's on fire, everyone's upset, everyone's like, you know, losing money, and maybe, you know, people are in long positions. I was talking to you guys about this. We look at the 𝐹𝐺 dashboard. You know, I mean, it's super clear. Long and short ratio so heavily skewed towards longs right now for retail traders. Like, retails were so fucking bullish that it hurts. You know, Bybit was actually majority bearish. They still are, but Bybit has evened out quite a lot now that the price has come down. So of course Bybit traders do tend to be better, and you guys know the deal, by the way. If you want to get access to the giveaway where they're giving away an iPhone 14 Pro Max, all you've got to do is sign up to Bybit using my link and deposit $100. That's it. And you are entered to win an iPhone 14 Pro Max. And if you do want to get some free cash to actually trade with, Bybit will give that to you as well when you start making your first deposit and trading on Bybit using my link. They'll just credit free money into your account, and you can trade with it and take home profits with it as well. OKX is running a similar offer with up to $30,000 in rewards, but it's actually a little bit easier to get it. You get up to 10k just for signing up, and then up to 10k again just for depositing $50. So it's a lot easier to get these bonuses, but on OKX it's down to chance, right? You're getting a mystery box. So it's a trade-off, but it's definitely one that's worth taking because it's free. You're just clicking buttons and you're getting free money and free rewards, right? So it's almost like just a no-brainer really to be doing this. So check them out with the links in the description down below. You'll find the OKX link right here and the Bybit link right here. And if you do want to get yourself inside a VIP, you'll find that all up here. But let's come back to the chart here. We've been talking about this breakout, but more to the immediate market right now. What we have is a 4-hour Ichimoku cloud that has now turned into resistance. Now this is a warning that I gave you yesterday, and it has now materialized in this market, where we can see that this beautiful green cloud has now turned into resistance, and it is moving down. It's going to start lining up with this level in the $28,000 range pretty soon, basically within the next, I mean, like 4 hours really, probably, you know, that it's going to come down to this green box. And this is the key thing that I was highlighting to you in one of my most recent Bitcoin videos, where I was talking to you about how now that we are below some of these areas of support, we do have to assume that they may act as resistance. So I'm going to be watching this to see if the market does capture resistance, because I don't think it's going to be long for the market to drop after finding resistance in this stage, right? There's just not particularly good support. Now this green line is really important, and I'll speak to you about that in just a second. If you already know what I'm going to say, smash up the likes for me, because you are a regular viewer of the channel, but I'll come back to that in just a second. I do want to thank you guys for tuning into this channel though regularly right now while the market is hot. You guys are showing me that you trust me, and I'm here to deliver the best content that I ever have. We're only dialing it up. You know, I mean, we've just been firing videos off on the 𝐹𝐺 daily channel, by the way. I want you to take a look at this real quick. We did a huge video on Binance Coin, Cardano, and Ethereum. Big moves there in these markets, and I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about Doge and Tron today as well. You're going to be finding those two on the 𝐹𝐺 daily channel. But you know, the thing is yeah, like we are going to start finding resistance here, but you know, well, I don't know if we will for sure, but you know, it's quite likely. You know, but the problem, I suppose, is that like we just don't really have like any, you know, support in this range, right? Like other than the green line, like I said, which I'll speak about in a second, there isn't actually anything on this chart. So if we do find resistance, a subsequent drop could be really quick. You know, and it's the kind of thing which you actually like wouldn't really have any time to prepare for. You know, so you really want to make sure that you're prepared for that kind of move in advance if it is the kind of thing that you're interested in trading. This is definitely the kind of thing that I would be interested in trading, because the move looks pretty obvious if we lose this green line. This is actually the only reason that I'm hesitant, but if we do lose this green line, the move down to 25 looks pretty obvious. Of course, some people could try and front run the market and maybe we only fall down to 25.5 or whatever, but we could also see that there's just a lot of fear, because right now this is a really classic setup for the market to just, you know, set new lows, really, to drop really hard. This is a very typical way for Bitcoin to top out and then drop down massively, which, to be honest with you guys, is kind of the only thing that's really concerning me, is that like as far as patterns go for Bitcoin to show us like, all right, well, fuck you guys, we're dropping really hard, this is like one of the most common ways that Bitcoin will do it. It's not like, I'm not talking about Bitcoin, you know, repeating, you know, this kind of like weird price action. It's just like in general, just moving down like this. It's almost hard for me to put a pin on exactly what it is, but you know, it's quite clear to say that like this pullback here isn't the same as like this drop here, which turned out to be very temporary, right? It's almost a little bit more like this one, and this one turned into a pretty deep correction. Let's actually measure this from high to low. This was 20%, and so far we're down by about 12. So if we do the same kind of 20%, that does put us down. Look at that. I mean, the numbers just line up so well. 19.7% down from our high. It puts us down at $24,900. So, which is exactly where my red line is. I mean, it's almost fucking creepy, guys, like how well the numbers work out, but that's just what it is, you know, that's just what we're looking at. So resistance up ahead could turn into a problem, and the shorter term time frames give us a little bit more of a view on what that might look like. The 1 hour Ichimoku cloud completely encompasses this range right now, and it's showing us that we are going to have some significant problems if we do manage to rally up into here over the course of the next day or so, or just the next few days even. Could definitely turn into a problem. The 1 hour EMA ribbon, let's take a look at this. Let's see how close this is hugging the price. Yeah, it's a big ribbon right now. It's got a big old spread on it, but it's saying that we are right in bearish territory. And look at how useful it's been when the market was selling off quite quickly, right? Like every time we kind of get close to it or in it, we just start selling off again. So right now, obviously, you know, we've been pushing up into it quite a bit. You know, it might be worth looking at the 4 hour time frame, and we're still quite far away from resistance. So in a sense, I guess this is a representation of just showing us that, you know, I mean, resistance is a little bit far, but the main reason for that is because the market just dropped so hard. So we are going to expect the price to probably come up towards these areas again, because the price just, you know, generally they almost act as magnets. The EMAs move towards it, the price moves towards it, they meet, and then they find resistance, right? Like that's what we typically see with situations like this. So you know, I do still think that there's a little bit more upside in the super short term, but this is all resistance, right? Like this entire range is only resistance, and sentiment is really bearish right now, so I don't necessarily see that we're just going to, you know, shoot straight through it. Retail's still long, so, you know, and it's quite a bit long. It's not like 56% long, no, it's 64% long. You know, it's 64%. It's not 54, it's 64. You know, so this is a bit, I mean, it's 1.76 longs for every single short for retail traders right now. Like, retail is fucking bullish. Like, retail traders have got their jetpacks strapped to their back. Like, where's Crypto Kirby at? I miss this guy. Like, I want to hear what he has to say about this with little Jimmy ready to, you know, put his $600 stimmy in the market and all that good stuff. He's been out for a while. I hope he's doing all right, but I'm sure he'll come back soon. You know, it's the time for retail where they're just super fucking exciting and excited, and it makes total sense because the whole rally up they were bearish. You know, retail were majority short for the whole rally up, but of course they're late. You know, so they start getting long up here, and this is exactly where I was warning you guys about. Like, people were asking me, like, should I buy Bitcoin up here? What do I trade? Do I go long? And you guys will remember, I was the guy saying, look, I still think that we could keep moving up. I did say that. Obviously, I was wrong about that. You know, and it's not like that mattered because I had already secured so much money on this trade. I was up in 400% profit, and I had already secured over 100 grand. I was in 200k profit. You know, but what I was saying is like, look, you wanna hope for a pullback, and if we get a pullback, you want to start buying that pullback, right? Like that's the play while we're up here, because this is just too high to be taking on long positions. This is just too high to be buying Bitcoin. If you didn't buy Bitcoin at this stage, I mean, you know, it depends. If you're super long term, then okay, I guess it doesn't matter. You can buy Bitcoin at stupid price levels. But you know, if you're interested in making money a little bit sooner, if you want faster money, if you want bigger money, you got to start picking your entry levels a little bit smarter than that. You know, so you need to get these pullbacks, and that's, I think, what we're in right now. So I still think that we've got more downside to go. I think super short term we can continue to rise higher, but this is only a resistance area, so I'm not expecting miracles. If we do start to drop lower, I'm looking at 25. I am looking at this price level. Like I said, this is one of the only kind of problems with my analysis that kind of just throws a spanner or a wrench in the works, I guess. I'm not sure what the actual phrase is, but you know, if we take a look at the Fibonacci retracement here, this is exactly what I was showing you previously. We are starting to find some support in this range, and this is an important 382 Fibonacci level. Now look, I don't think that this is like, you know, the thing that's going to save the market. I think that the market's not in such a good shape where, you know, like a 382 Fibonacci retracement off, you know, a short to mid-term, you know, because this isn't even, you know, the real fib level. Like the real fib level for the whole market would be like here, you know. So the 618 level, this is really interesting. It's 21.5 right now. You know, so we talk about like an absolute low. I'd be really surprised if we drop below like the 6.6 level or the 6.18 level. I'd be really surprised. I do not think Bitcoin is going back down below 20k, maybe ever, but certainly not like this year, probably even. I don't think that that's going to happen. Not unless like other things in the world get shit again, because they're just not so bad right now. It's also traditional finance, right? Like we got to keep an eye on this. There's no like real thing that's gone wrong with Bitcoin right now. It's just a sell-off, right? It's not like there's like news. It's not like an exchange is getting hacked, or, you know, Binance is getting raided by the FBI. It's just a sell-off, and traditional finance is still doing well. So look, if traditional finance pulls back a little bit, then yeah, I mean, that's signing Bitcoin's death warrant down to 25k, but, you know, potentially. But it's not looking too bad. Traditional finance just needs a bit of a pullback. I mean, look at this rally. It's a big rally. You know, we need a bit of a pullback. We haven't really had anything yet, so maybe a bit of pausing here is enough. But if this thing continues to rise up again, like I've been saying it previously in the, you know, in recent videos, you guys that are subscribed are going to know about this. Like, I just don't think that, you know, that's going to be what really kind of changes the game. You know, like I think Bitcoin will just keep following traditional finance no matter where. Like maybe Bitcoin's down here when it happens, right? But like eventually I think it's going to happen. 382 level on this chart is much more important. 618 level is also much more important on this chart. So that's why I was saying that like this isn't really even necessarily the correct Fibonacci level to draw. It is still important, right? I mean, the 618 level is still 24k. We know that's important. 382 level is 26.7. I already had this level drawn as a line on my chart, so I knew this was important. All of these levels work. It's still an important Fibonacci retracement, don't get me wrong, but I just don't know if it's going to be what saves the market. You know, this is a big sell-off, and to say that the whole big sell-off just ends here, it almost just feels like it ends a little bit flat, you know, like, and this is where we start bouncing? I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, it could be that way. It would almost just be like a rhyme with what happened previously, because if you guys remember, I was showing you this chart right here. You know, where Bitcoin did this. So like it could be just Bitcoin's doing this a little bit differently, right? Let me show you what I mean. You know, so where previously Bitcoin kind of, you know, it comes down to here, just to the very top of our previous range. I cannot draw a straight line. Let me do it with my trackpad. Oh wow, I'm even worse here, hang on. Oh my god, this is bad. Oh god, this is so embarrassing. Okay, there we go. I'm just doing it like that. You know, so like that's the equivalent line on our current chart, and you know, we kind of like fell down to it back here in 2020, and then just bounced off the very top and just went straight off to the races. You know, maybe we just turn this whole thing around like in the very next week, you know, and traditional finance breaks out, and this just turns out to be a bit of a deviation, you know, below our support levels. So the market kind of like, let me grab some bars and show you what this might look like, you know. So it's like we do something, yeah, I guess a little bit like this, you know. Maybe this is what happens, right? And then maybe this leads into this. Maybe, you know, it's worth talking about, don't you think? Just exploring the idea. I think it's worth a discussion. Could definitely be what we're looking at. Yeah, puts us up to 40k if we do something like that. I mean, obviously it's just like a super rough fractal, but it could just be that, you know, like Bitcoin wasn't forming deviations back then like it was these days, you know. So that's why I'm saying that, like, this could just be kind of like a, you know, so we can't rule that out quite yet. But it is safe to say that, you know, we're not in a great place, right? We are still in quite a bearish. It's a weekly engulfing candle. It's not good. It's 4 weeks of price action we've just completely fucked off in, you know, 2-3 days. It's not good. It's not a good look. So, you know, I mean, I don't want to place my bets on that kind of thing, but if you are bullish, you're gonna take some, you know, relief in that. Me personally, I'm still in my long position. I'm not worried. I'm still seeing 30k again. That's what I'm thinking. My stop loss is at 23.7. I might have to lower that a couple $100, but it's also at a really good price level, so I'm happy with that. And I am interested in short positions. I'm also quite interested in just trading altcoins. Altcoins are looking really hot right now. There's a lot going on. I've been talking all about it on the 𝐹𝐺 Daily channel. I can't speak now. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about it on the 𝐹𝐺 Daily channel right after you watch this video. So come join me here. It's always going to be the top link in the description. So go to the description of this YouTube video and just click on this link right here, and that's how you can get access to the 𝐹𝐺 Daily channel. Make sure you're subscribed. You've got the bell icon checked for both videos, for both channels, because I am posting very time-sensitive content. You don't want to miss it. A lot of you guys are interested in this analysis, but you're just not on this channel. So it's getting posted there. If you're watching it or not, that's up to you. I do occasionally post the videos here as well. There's so many going up on the 𝐹𝐺 Daily channel, and a few of them get trickled down onto the main one. But if you do watch it on the main channel, you're watching it late. So I do want you guys to come up here and check this out if this is where you want to be. But, you know, if you don't care too much, that's totally cool. Make sure you take advantage of the Bybit offer if you're interested. Look at that. He's also telling you to click the link down below. Take a look at the Bybit offer if you're interested in just getting a bunch of free cash deposited into your account, just free money that you can trade with. Of course, if you only want the $100, if you only want the iPhone, you only have to deposit $100, so that's super easy. This is the trade that I entered yesterday. I took some profits and I closed the rest at break even, and that's it. And if you want to check out OKX, this is available to you as well. This is out of date. It is now a 30k bonus, so that is even better. All right, I really hope you've enjoyed this video. You know exactly what to do. Hit up the like, subscribe, tick the bell, and I'll see you all on the altcoin channel next. Cheers.